What if your peace of mind had nothing to do with your job, your relationships, or your success, and everything to do with one ancient idea? Epictetus, a former slave turned Stoic philosopher, said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control, and some things are not." His teachings were compiled by his student Arian and form the basis for the text we now call the Discourses. In this episode, we're going to start working through these discourses together and begin to learn from this great Stoic philosopher. So join me as we read and discuss Book 1, Chapter 1 of the things which are in our power and of the things which are not in our power. There are three things which are in our control: our attitude, our opinions, and our actions. And there are three things which are not in our control: the things that happen, things that are beyond our control, like the weather, other people, what they say or do, and things that depend on others, like getting a promotion or winning an award. We can't control whether it rains or snows tomorrow, but we can control how we respond to the rain or snow. We can't control what other people do, but we can control our reactions to their behavior. These are the two types of things in our life: those that we can control and those that we can't. Of the things that we can control, our attitudes are in our control. How we choose to view things is up to us. What we pay attention to, what we focus on, our attitude, shapes our experience of the world. Our attitudes are in our control. For example, when someone says something offensive to us, we have the choice of thinking of that person as a jerk, or we can see them as ignorant, or we can let it go. Another example: imagine you've been working hard on a project, and just as it's about to be finished, it gets canceled. You can see this as a terrible setback, or you can look at it as an opportunity to work on something new and exciting. It's all about your attitude. The second thing that's in our control is our opinions, our beliefs. This is also often translated as judgments. This is the way we interpret things, categorize things, label things. And in many ways, our opinions are even more important than our attitudes because they shape our attitudes. For example, if we believe that life is suffering, then we'll approach life expecting suffering. If we believe that people are good, then we'll approach people expecting goodness. The Stoics have a name for this idea of shaping our attitudes with our opinions. They call it immunization. Immunization is based on the idea that our opinions create expectations. Our expectations create vulnerabilities. For example, let's say someone has the opinion that life is difficult. Then when something difficult happens, that person will feel vulnerable. But if someone has the opinion that life is easy, then when something difficult happens, that person will think, this is easy. This is no problem. So this is why the Stoics say that we should work on our opinions, because our opinions shape our experience of the world. And the third thing that's in our control is our actions. What we do is always up to us. Sure, we can consider different options, but ultimately we make the decision of what to do. This is what the Stoics mean by being the master of oneself. Being the master of oneself is not about being perfect. It's about having control. It's about deciding what to do. The Stoics believe that since our actions are in our control, we should always take action. Action is better than inaction. Of course, some actions are better than others, but still action is always preferable to doing nothing. The Stoics would say that it's better to take an action that moves you closer to wisdom and virtue, but any action is better than no action. Now that we've talked about what's in our control, let's talk about what's not in our control. There are three things that are not in our control: things that happen, things that are beyond our control, like the weather or what other people do, and things that depend on others, like getting a promotion or winning an award. The first category, the things that happen, includes everything that happens in our lives, both good and bad. It includes the death of a loved one or the birth of a child. It includes passing an exam or failing a class. Everything that happens is in this category. And the Stoics say that we shouldn't get upset over things that happen, because things that happen are not in our control. The second category is things that are beyond our control. Things like the weather or what other people do are beyond our control. We can't change the fact that it's raining outside, so we might as well enjoy the rain. We can't change what another person said or did, so we might as well focus on our response to that person. Now, sometimes it's necessary to attempt to influence things that are beyond our control, like making a request or giving an order or issuing a warning. But even in these cases, we need to understand that we don't actually have control over the outcome. We can make a request, but we can't force someone to comply. We can give an order, but we can't force someone to follow it. We can warn someone about a danger, but we can't force them to avoid that danger. When we attempt to influence things that are beyond our control, we need to be prepared to accept the answer no, not only in our mind, but also in our heart. The third category of things that are not in our control is things that depend on others, like getting a promotion or winning an award. Now, sometimes it's necessary to work toward things that depend on others, like preparing for a presentation or practicing for an audition. But we need to understand that even if we prepare, we may still not get the outcome that we want. This is why the Stoics say that we shouldn't get attached to outcomes. We should focus on doing our best and accepting whatever happens next. So to sum up, there are three things in our control: our attitude, our opinions, and our actions. And there are three things not in our control: things that happen, things that are beyond our control, and things that depend on others. The key to happiness, according to Epictetus, is to focus on the things that are in our control and not worry about the things that are not in our control. This is the first lesson from Epictetus, and it's a lesson that we need to remember every day. I hope you enjoyed this first lesson from Epictetus. To keep learning from great minds, subscribe to our channel. See you next time with Book 1, Chapter 2 of the Discourses, How a Man on Every Occasion Can Maintain His Proper Character.